Take 2 marker. Okay, so we're going to put grid lock on up here, and if you notice there are 2 options on the right hand sidebar, grid lock or step lock. And down here I want you to notice this panel that says rel. It stands for relative. It tells me the relative distance of anything that I'm drawing, and I'm going to pick up a line tool. So I've put grid lock on and I've picked up a line tool, and I am moving across every single dot on the screen, and each dot on this screen is 10 millimeters from another dot, okay, unless it's diagonal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line that is the size of the front of the casing, and we've got a distance on this diagram that I'm copying here which says that that should be 10. I'm going to slow down. Watch the relative toolbar. It's taking the material away where I've drawn. Can you see that? I'm going to pick up another line and I'm going to put grid lock off and put step lock on. And notice where I am on the screen. I'm not snapping. But if you look at the relative, I'm moving, if I move really slowly, every millimetre. Can you see that? Every millimetre I can move. If I take them both off, I'll move within 1/10 of a millimetre. I can move extremely accurately on this screen to produce something. Let's start drawing a rectangle, okay? Easiest way to do this would be to have your grid lock on, because it's easier to move from one corner or point on the screen. And then I prefer to actually just change the dimensions of these lines to suit what I'm drawing, but you could have gone, oh, it's 10 by 10, I'll count 10 across or move 10. Look at the relative. So if it's very simple like that, I could have drawn it very easily, 10 by 10. But let's pretend I'm trying to draw something, I don't know, 94. So I go click on the line, click property, and let's change it to 94. Same again. Maybe this one is 98. Sometimes things aren't exactly as we want them to be, okay? They're a bit more precise. I'm going to click and hold on the contour tool, and I'm going to get the third contour tool in, and I'm going to contour parallel. If I'm creating a line parallel, I hear lots of boys describe it as a line that never meets another line, or 2 lines that never touch, or, you know, something along those lines. But what it actually is, it's 2 lines separated by a distance evenly spaced all the way along them. Okay, so you're right, they'll never meet, but you're telling me a fact, a property about it. So now I'm going to put a spacing in here of 98. And I think the other line, can you remember how far it would have been along? Was it? Thank you. And I'm going to click OK. And that will make me the exact size of a square that I want to work with. If I wanted that to now be the back, I can pick up my select tool, highlight over it, copy and paste. And we will do that at the end. But if I want to use metal spacers to space these 2 pieces of material evenly apart, I'm then going to drop circles on with the grid lock on still. And I'm going to drop them onto the dots, okay? Now remember, if this was 10 by 10, it wouldn't be an issue, but I'm just drawing them sporadically, okay? When I click on them, I can change the property of these, and the radius that you need for my circles would be 2, because the diameter is 4 millimeter for the bolts. Did that make sense? Good. That's the magic number, okay? Unfortunately, the program only lets you undo Control and Z once. Okay, so it's quite frustrating. If you want to move something though, you can. And if you want to delete something, you can by clicking on it and hitting delete. So if I now wanted to correct this and make it 10, it should be quite quick. But the program is definitely working in millimeters. Remember, you've also got shapes there, so if you wanted it to be a nice square, you can draw it quite quickly. Did you just see that? You can pick up different shapes. Clicking and holding anywhere will let you draw other shapes that maybe you are interested in quite quickly. Okay, so clicking and holding will open up more avenues of tools that you can use. Okay, another one that's quite interesting is this contour tool. So I can draw around lines or inside lines and make shapes quite quickly. This is quite boring right now. I think there is going to be a triangle in the center, and I've shown roughly how to draw this idea. And then the next part would be to copy this so you have a front, a back, and on this design a middle. But for some of you, you might be interested in something along the lines of, I don't know, say you want the Cookie Monster's face on the front of your design. Okay, I don't know where that came from, but you can see that Cookie Monster is something that I know that I can get a shape of quite quickly. I want this face on the front of my idea. Okay, obviously I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it in to 2D Design. And the next thing I'm going to do is use this tool here, Vectorize. This will allow me to take any image from the internet and then use it to then export it to a laser cutter, 3D printer, whatever it is that I'm working on. It could be 3D printed. Not right now, because I can't see through it, so I don't have control. But when I click on it now, it shows me how many line colours there are. And the laser cutter sees red lines and goes, okay, I'll cut them. And it sees black lines and it scratches, it engraves them. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this one colour, because it will get confused when it sees 4 colours, because it's only ever going to see black and red. Okay? And like I've just said, all of these lines up here, if I want them all to be cut out, what colour do they need to be? Good. So I'm going to highlight over this and go to line colour and make it red. That would now cut out. Okay? Cookie Monster's face would just be scratched onto a large sheet of material and then be left there. It wouldn't actually fall through the material. It wouldn't be cut out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to contour, run a line all the way around the Cookie Monster's head at 1 millimeter. It really doesn't matter. And then I'm going to select that line and I'm going to make that line red. So now he would be cut out. I'm imagining he would then be stuck on the front of here. So remember that this is pieces that you want to put together. I would keep him separate so that I can attach him out of the laser cutter. Does this make sense to you? That's it. That should be enough information to get you started drawing some of your ideas. Some of you, though, look like you want to make them by hand. That's absolutely fine. But I've written in your book, so have a little chat. Okay?